to get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful November 12th, 2021. And today is Fantasy Football Friday, and which leads me to introduce two guest hosts here today. One of them just happens to have a concert down in Iowa City, Iowa for, I believe it is Montana of 300, if I'm correct. And the other guy just happens to have another concert as well. I believe it's December 4th. For Dizzy Wright. I believe that is the right name for him. So let me welcome to the show both guest hosts, Y4 and Logan Dynamite Baumgart. How's it going, fellas?
It's going great. How are you?
We are doing. Last night, we had a pretty spectacular game, I'd say, for the most part. Not really.
Hell of an unexpected turnout. But
Very.
good game.
Liked it. Loved it.
You know, I think, going into that game, we obviously all picked the Baltimore Ravens to win that game. But I think we should have went with our gut feeling. But, I think we underestimated the Dolphins a little bit. But I think it goes right back to when we were talking about the keys of the games. And, I gave a couple key points. And for the Ravens, I said, look, you got to get Lamar going. You got to get him going early and often, get him throwing the ball, get him running, scrambling, and stuff like that. But what we actually seen happen was my other key point, and that was Miami's defense. Slowing and actually kind of stopping Lamar Jackson last night, and they did that in a big, big way. What did you guys kind of take away from that Miami Dolphins defense against Lamar Jackson, how they were able to kind of stop him?
I think a lot of it, Ravens look unprepared, Dolphins look ready to play. They were at home, prime time,
Do you think the Ravens kind of were like, this is a give me kind of game?
I think they could have been. I mean, it's how they played. And the Dolphins just showed up. They were fired up, ready to go. Always foot on the gas the whole entire game.
And they were, yeah. That defense played really well, I think. But,
I think that we've seen it all year. Lamar Jackson is the entire Ravens offense.
Mhm.
And if you stop Lamar Jackson, you win the game. But their defense is also really poor. There's a lot of games this year that they should have lost, a lot of close games.
mm-hmm.
And this is one that they should have lost, and they actually lost.
Yeah.
So I think it just plays into the way they played all year, and they just finally didn't get lucky on one. So.
Yeah. And I don't see. They stopped Lamar Jackson to an extent. I think they really just kind of slowed him down because in the past game, he was phenomenal, or not too phenomenal, but he was pretty solid where he went 26-43, had 238 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But it was the run game where they really slowed him down. Not only slowed him down, slowed Devontae Freeman down, slowed Latavius Murray down, and slowed Le'Veon Bell down, where Lamar only had 9 rushes for 34 yards or 39 yards last night. So that was a big, big factor, I think, for the Miami Dolphins to win last night, basically because when Lamar gets going on the run game, he doesn't need much in the pass game at all to succeed
Right.
and extend drives and get those first downs where he can just run that clock all the way down. We've seen that all season, but Miami's defense played really, really well. 4 sacks, 7 pass deflections, 1 interception, 1 fumble, in which Xavier Howard actually returned for a touchdown, which is kind of nice for him because basically this whole season he has been silent. Okay, after requesting the trade from the Dolphins, get me the fuck out of here type stuff, he goes out there and finally makes some noise, finally shows that, hey, I'm still a top corner. I should still, be talked about in a positive manner. But that defense for Miami it was stellar. And I think offensively they did all right for the most part. They had a hard time kind of moving or keeping drives going throughout the whole game. They only scored 1 offensive touchdown. The other touchdown obviously came from that fumble recovery from Xavier Howard. But Tua, he didn't start this game. And that's because he had a broken finger. I was trying to figure out why the hell he wasn't, because he was in pads the whole time. And John he's like, well, he looks fine to me, type thing. He should be in this game. And Brissett started, looked a little rocky, 11 for 23, 156 yards and a touchdown. But Tua had these similar stats, except for his completion percentage was a little bit better, 8 for 13, 158 yards, and a touchdown. He also fumbled the ball as well as Jacoby fumbling the ball. But I think the one thing that Tua did well was get that rushing touchdown.
And momentum picked up when he got in. Which
Yeah, it did.
was really nice to see. He got in there and the team seemed to rally around him really well.
Yeah, I think that was very, very apparent right from the get-go. You could tell, like, that chemistry all of a sudden was back, and they were feeling good. They're flowing real nice and stuff like that. But, hey, 22-10, Dolphins took this game pretty easily, I feel like, and that's the NFL we live in, basically. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen from week to week. Anything can really transpire, like the Bills losing to fucking Jacksonville 9-6. That was
Unbelievable.
Upsets all over.
Upsets, yeah. And then so Ravens moved to 6-3 on the season. All right, the Dolphins moved to 3-7. All right, they're not doing too well. I think they're now not last in their division. The Jets would be until they have to play. I believe this week they play the Bills. So that'll be interesting to see how that division goes. And then obviously New England plays the Cleveland Browns, and I can't remember. No, we got the Bills, Jets, and Miami just played Ravens. So we got all those teams narrowed down. So that division's kind of up for some type of fight between the Patriots and the Bills. Not so much the Dolphins and the Jets, but it's a good one. And it's not too bad. AFC, though, I think is a lot different.
Yeah, anybody could win the AFC at this point. I mean, other than the obvious teams, but you talk about the front runners right now. I mean, Chiefs, Patriots, Browns, Pittsburgh, Bengals. It's unbelievable. Ravens. I mean, it really, really don't know.
And I for some reason, I'm not counting the Chiefs in. I don't know if I can at this point. I still feel like there's way too many holes.
I think they'll win the next 4 games.
Well, they got the Raiders coming up this week, and I just don't see the Raiders winning that one. That's a tough situation they have going on. What's your guys?
Chiefs will go on a run for a little while.
They could. They very, very easily could.
Yeah.
But I think they got lucky without having Aaron Rodgers to play against. Lucky, because they lose that game, I think, if Aaron Rodgers plays. I think 100%. But, I mean, now they're coming into a Raiders organization that is just basically kind of like the basis of it. You know, John Gruden's out, which, by the way, he is now suing the NFL.
Saw that.
And Roger Goodell saying that basically they
forced him out of a job.
Forced him out of a job and did this, purposefully and stuff like that. But then I can't remember if it was like a vice president or something of the NFL operations or something. He came out and he said, "Look, the actions that he did does not merit anything or I can't remember, meritless or something weird. I can't remember how it was worded right. But basically he said, good luck trying to fight this. Like, you sent those emails, you made those remarks, you're done."
The only thing he could have an argument with is that they were sent when he wasn't employed by the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, if you treat it like a normal job, how our jobs would work if we got fired for something like that, and we weren't there, I think that we'd have a case.
He might,
Morally, it's not right, but civilly, I think that he might have something here.
I know he didn't work for NFL, but being that he covered the NFL and was always on like the Monday night games, the Sunday night games, doing that, I feel like that might play a big factor in it. I mean, just because, you might not work for him, but you kind of represent them in a way. Like Joe Buck, he works for Fox. He doesn't work for the NFL, but he covers the NFL because he also covers the World Series and baseball and stuff. So I feel like you might not work for them, but you represent them in a way. And the way you represent them, you got to do it in a professional manner. And he obviously did not, apparently, and tried taking some shots. It's unfortunate. And then, Henry Ruggs, 156 miles an hour, just doing his thing. And unfortunately, he's facing up to 50 years now on 5 different charges.
Gun charge.
And
then they're getting him on critically injuring his girlfriend as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
No matter who's in the passenger vehicle, if you critically injure them, whether they wanted to be in there or not,
because you put their lives in danger. Yep. It's just unfortunate. And then obviously Damon Arnett, or whatever his name is, he wanted to be an idiot and
Yeah, that was
flash
rough.
his guns and do all that stuff, and now he's right back to Plan A, where he grew up. Basically, is kind of how he's going to be looking at that. And he might, if he gets a chance to NFL, it's going to be a while. He's going to have to go through some rehab or some classes to make him not do that stupid shit. I feel like your character and your personality is really hard to change once you're past 20 some years old. I mean, you can still change it. You can still change the way you go, but I think it's really hard to kind of like, all right, I got to separate myself from this. And he'll realize that eventually, obviously. He'll look back at the moment and be like, fuck, why did I make that decision? Why did I do that and stuff? Yeah. But it's going to be pretty interesting. But let's get to some Fantasy Football Friday, shall we? Let's talk about these matchups. We haven't done this in the past couple weeks. I think the last time I was the only one present. That's all right. We still got that shit done. John actually showed up right after we ended that video the other day. I was hoping he was I was peeking out the window for him. But how you guys looking for fantasy? I know, John, you're facing AB, or you're in trouble.
Yeah, easy win there for Line 4.
Well, I wouldn't say that quite yet. I mean, I've had almost half my guys already playing last night's game.
Well,
And they did not get me very many points.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, you got, I don't know if he's just not changing guys out or not, but he's projected 82 here.
He usually changes his guys out
Okay.
about, I think, Saturday or Sunday morning.
Okay.
I've noticed for some of them, actually, not all of them. But yeah, if he changes his players, you'd be in for an interesting game.
He really doesn't, as far as the players he can change to, none of them concern me that much.
Because he'd need a quarterback. He doesn't have a backup quarterback. He'd need a running back. He has a couple of them.
Barkley,
Well, Rodgers will be playing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Rodgers will be playing, so he's good there. Hopkins, I'm not 100% sure on if he's going to play. I feel like they should sit him, just based off of, he tried playing, I think it was last week, and he re-aggravated that hamstring injury.
Ended up going out, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he only got through the first quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
First first quarter. But then Keenan Allen, I've heard a little bit of news that he's trying to practice. It sounds like he's gonna be a game time decision, maybe a day before, maybe Saturday or something like that. But that'll be an interesting one for him. Otherwise, his bench is, he's got a deep enough bench. He's carrying two defenses right now in the Saints and the Steelers. But I like your lineup here, John. You got Lamar. He only put up 17. That's unfortunate. He definitely could have done more. He probably would have had like 20-some points. If he would have had that final drive or that final two drives like we were hoping was going to happen.
Instead of throwing a pick right at the end there, throwing a touchdown. That
Right.
would have been very nice.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for that.
Yeah, and you got Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler.
Still debating on him.
He's playing Arizona.
Question for you guys. I haven't read it all. Is Cam going to be ready to go Sunday, or are they? No.
So they announced yesterday that PJ is going to be the
It's
starter.
PJ and Matt Barkley.
And I
Okay.
think they're doing that so that Cam can get used to the offense, and then I think Cam's going next week. For
Okay.
Sure.
I
So
haven't heard
Darnold's
final
out.
on that, so.
Mm-hmm. I think Darnold's out like 4 to 6 weeks or something.
That's
Probably
big then.
longer.
I think
Yeah.
you would play him because I think you're going to run the ball a lot more with
Mhm.
those two quarterbacks, but
Yeah, if I was Carolina, I wouldn't even dress him.
yeah.
Because if he's dressed on the sideline and PJ starts sucking, they're going to be like, get him out there. And he's like, I don't know the playbook yet.
What the
Yeah,
hell? Like,
Chill
what-
out.
It'll be interesting to see how him, McCaffrey, and like the wide receivers kind of work out. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson.
I mean, he's been DJ Moore before.
Oh yeah, he was. He did have him.
So
It was like
there'll be
towards.
some chemistry there. And, when he played on the Patriots, he didn't have
Really
the
any
weapons
weapons.
that he is going to have on Carolina.
Yeah, they
There's a lot
kind
more to
of
work with.
that game plan for Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. It just did not.
He won 7 games with nobody.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It just felt weird.
people were hard on him, but what was he supposed to do? I mean, even the GOAT said that team's not good enough for him to play on. So
Yeah.
Do you think he won those 7 games based off of Bill Belichick giving him that opportunity? Because he's obviously one of those better quarterbacks in the NFL.
I don't know.
So I feel like that.
don't
I mean,
know.
they're sitting at 5-4 right now with a rookie quarterback.
I still like
The team's a lot better this year
That's
than it was
true.
last
That's
year.
true.
I still
They
got
spent all
Cam's
that.
back, I think.
Yeah,
I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
this
hope
is
he
going to
gets
be good. And I
another
think it's going
opportunity.
to spark a lot in him. He's going to be that hero figure again, which he hasn't been in how many years. So.
Since his MVP season almost.
But also
basically.
could be a lot of pressure on him. We'll see.
I just hope he can find a way to get his passing attack going a little bit more. Because last year, 10 rushing touchdowns, 9 passing, not too many yards passing and stuff. So if he gets that going, which I think he has a really good chance to do that with, one of the greatest receiving backs in Christian McCaffrey. You got Robbie Anderson who's trying to find his way around the ball, but he's still a good receiver. And DJ Moore is ridiculous. I'm excited for that move. Oh, speaking of moves, what was your thoughts on OBJ to the Rams?
Good for him. I hope he does well. It didn't work out with him at the Browns. I wish it would have. Just 3-4 weeks ago on this show, I had his back. I like OBJ. I think he's a hell of a guy. So hopefully he can do. I don't like the way that he decided to go about it, leaving. But they're saying he wanted out last offseason and the Browns didn't let him. So I think that he's doing what's right for him. So I hope he does well. I like Matthew Stafford, and I think it's a good team for him. So.
Yeah, that was a very good team. Like when I sent that message earlier morning, not thinking anything of it, I was like, yeah, maybe the Rams could be in play here. And then they go and do it, and I was like, oh wow, all right. Where did you initially think he was gonna end up?
Green Bay.
Green Bay
or Vegas for sure. I think that but the team that made the most sense, I think, is the Patriots. I think everybody thought that.
Yeah, those are one of those sleeper teams.
Go to a team that really doesn't have a wide receiver one right now, and can shine with the best coach to ever play football. So
he wouldn't have liked it there.
Yeah, I think his ego would have been too much. And I think that
similar team to what the Browns have right now. It's like a very similar ran offense, and Bill's not going to change the whole entire offense
for guy.
OBJ when he's trying to make that offense for Mac Jones.
Right.
So he ain't going to be like, let's bring this guy in there and change up the game plan. He's going to stick with the same game plan, just have another guy to throw to.
I think that OBJ and Rodgers would have clashed too. Yeah, I could see that happening.
I could see a couple drops and you just stop going down.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. But I think also, what was it like? What were you just talking like how the Patriots offense is similar to the Browns offense, and then we were talking about yesterday where he just all of a sudden started running his own routes, and then we talk about the Patriots. Baker's been in the NFL for 3 years with OBJ for 2, basically almost 3 or 2.5.
2 full seasons because he was injured a whole season. But.
And he was already running his own routes. They weren't on the same page. So if he goes to New England and starts running his own routes, there's no way in hell Mac Jones and him are going to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that's going to work out.
Right.
And especially with the Saints too. I mean, they don't have Jameis Winston, who's a veteran in this league, and they have Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian, I believe.
Yep, Trevor Siemian. Yeah.
So, I mean that whole situation it sucked. I mean, but kind of seen it coming for a while now because you could just tell that something wasn't right in that Browns offense, and all signs point to OBJ.
We lost him. I think it was week 6 last year, and after that, obviously went on the run at the end of the season, won a playoff game, and then he leaves. Last week, Baker looks great. He throws to 8 different receivers for 2 touchdowns. And, that's another thing is with the Browns is that Baker's not a named guy. He's not going to throw to, he doesn't throw to Jarvis just because he's Jarvis. He'll throw to the tight ends. Tight end Harrison Bryant gets a lot of touches, and most people probably don't know who Harrison Bryant is, or Rashard Higgins, or any of those guys. So,
yeah, and I think it's fair enough to say that the Browns this week might struggle a little bit against New England. I think that's going to be a very, very good game.
Chubb.
No Chubb, and bringing up Chubb, this stat line. So, without Nick Chubb, the Browns are 3-3, have points per game of 18.8, have 106.2 rushing yards per game, 4.2 yards per rush, and 1 rushing touchdown without Nick Chubb in the lineup for the Cleveland Browns. But when he is there and playing, Nick Chubb and the Cleveland Browns are 13-6, 27.3 points per game, 167.3 rushing yards per game, 5.2 yards per rush, and 36 touchdowns when Nick Chubb plays.
Wow.
So the Browns, I think, really, really need Nick Chubb in a big, big way over there for them to succeed. Obviously, they can still succeed without him. I think last week, they beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
Was that
Dearness Johnson against the Broncos.
And that's why I'm not too worried about this game, because I think Dearness Johnson he's something else. He's something special. Glad that you guys... He played for you last year, right, too?
Yeah, the last 2 years, actually. He was on the practice squad. And then was on our team last year, and he only started one game against the Cowboys, where he had 98 yards and no touchdowns. But I mean, he's, against the Denver Broncos, he had a touchdown, 96 yards. Against the Cowboys, 98 yards rushing. So both times that he's gotten an opportunity, he's stepped up to the plate. So I'm hoping he does it again, but we'll see.
That's pretty big.
I think the weather's going to be huge.
Yeah,
New
and the
England
weather
kind of sucks a lot of the times.
rainy.
Yep.
Especially at this time, it might be snowing over there at this point too.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that
It will
game
be.
kind of rolls out. Back to a little bit of fantasy here, John. You're sitting at the 2 seed. You're 5-4. You're behind Team Cole, who is 7-2, and you're playing the 6 seed, 2-7. You're in trouble. He probably doesn't fucking change his players sitting looking at that 2-7 record. But I mean, who am I to talk? I'm 2-7 in one of my other leagues, so. And I look at that every week, and it just blows my mind. But you're up 50 points right now, and you only have 5 people, or 5 personnel to play, and one of them being a defense.
Yep.
So it'll be a close one,
Oh yeah.
especially with he has Robert Woods in the lineup. If he doesn't get his targeted, I think OBJ is gonna get some targets. I think they play Monday.
Is he going to play?
I'd assume.
Yeah.
Well, I mean. It'll be interesting to see how that works. If he does play, it's gonna be very limited.
Yeah,
I
he
think
went
he's
today
gonna-
to sign his contract and
do his
do
physical.
his physical. Yep. So
It'll be if he does play. Like I said, probably there's gonna be a handful of plays that are gonna be for him to go out there and try. I think get the feel of it, get the feel of the offense, start building that chemistry, and I think we can really start to see him next week, 100%. Obviously, go in there.
it's going to be interesting to
Full
see.
goal.
I hope he does well, but it'll be interesting to see what the story is if he does get receptions and drops them or gets injured.
Yeah, if he
What
just
the story
has the
will be.
same situation that he did with the Browns, that'll make you think twice about who OBJ is as an NFL player.
Right.
Not as a person himself, but as a player in the NFL. How good he actually is, what his legacy actually is besides that fucking one-handed side of the
catch.
the catch. So, but other than that, we got Team Cole's number 1 seed taking on Austin, who's the number 3 seed. Austin's currently up 5.5-0. Had Gaskin scored 5.5. Gaskin really couldn't get anything going as well. Both running back squads for each of the Ravens, Dolphins last night just could not get going. Nobody reached over 40 yards rushing on either team. Lamar, I think, got the closest on 39 yards. So that was a little worrisome, but that also means, both defenses played phenomenal last night, tried stopping the ball. Ravens just came up short. Unfortunately, they stop in one possession, they score, they probably take the lead, and then the game's a whole different story, especially if that fumble doesn't happen to make it. I think it was 9, and then they scored a touchdown, and it was like 15 or something like that. And yeah, so that'll be interesting, but that'll be a good game to continue to watch for. Austin's at 5-4, tied with Weller over here at Y4, and then Team Cole's 7-2. But the game.
Biggest game of the week.
Biggest game of the week. Probably 100% at this point. So there's a 6-man league for the Get Your Fix football or fantasy football league. 4 of the top 4 teams will make the playoffs. All teams will obviously make the playoffs, with the bottom 2 being in the losing bracket basically. Right. So seeds 1 through 4 are going to the playoffs. Currently, I'm sitting at the 4th seed. Logan, owner of Full Chubb, is sitting at the 5 seed. We both sit at 4-5 on the season. So this could be huge, especially if Austin loses, goes to 5-5, and then I win or you win. One of us goes to 5-5. That could bump him down. That could send us up to 3.
Right.
Like one of those situations. But this is going to be a huge week for both of us. So you have a pretty solid lineup.
Well, you'd think that, but it hasn't worked out for me this year. Patrick Mahomes has been probably one of my worst players this year, to be honest with you.
You're not wrong.
Tyreek Hill's right up there too. They just both have not delivered the way they should have. Obviously, I don't have Chubb in my lineup this week, which is going to hurt. But I did play Dearness Johnson against the Broncos in my fantasy, and he got me 28 points, so I'm hoping that happens again.
Yeah, I do think that's going to be nice.
Yeah,
I had Mike Gesicki play last night, scored me 0 points. That sucked. I did not think that was going to happen. He was in the game the whole game.
He was. I watched,
Yeah, how does that happen? It happens, obviously, but, we're looking at, if anybody, one thing I did want to say is if anybody out there has any Bills players, start them. Please, just go out there and start them. They're coming off a huge, massive upset against the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's no way in hell they're not going to come out and beat the piss out of the New York Jets. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, well, that's the NFL. I just feel like the Bills are going to be very pissed and they aren't gonna. It's a division game. It could end up being a close one, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, they just lost in a 5 field goal game to the Jags. And you just can't. You can't do that when you're that good, especially since I have them going to the fucking Super Bowl. Hey, Jesus. But yeah, I would definitely start any Bills people that you have on your roster. I have Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and the Bills defense right now. It's going to be... basically, I put Beasley in there because I'm not 100% sure what the hell Diggs is going to do because he hasn't seemed to start a spark or start a fire at all this year. I mean, he has these hit-and-miss games. He hasn't really been special, to say the least, at all. So... I put Beasley there just for a little bit of security blanket. We'll have to check that. Hopefully none of your guys outscore me, but it might with that 0.
Hawkinson, that might. The tight end battle, hopefully will win. Hopefully Hawkinson doesn't come out there with 0s, but I'm still nervous about Patrick Mahomes. And
yeah, Damian Williams, too. That's going to be a tough game, or a good game, though, for the Chiefs-Raiders, I think.
Yeah, but then I got Mixon on a bye, Chubb out with COVID, and then I've got Davis with Atlanta at Dallas.
Yeah, and Davis really hasn't sparked anything.
No, I mean, he's been in there just when I needed him because Chubb was hurt those couple weeks, but not having Mixon to fall back on when Chubb's out is definitely going to hurt, I think, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. So before we get to Week 10 pick'ems, so I've already established my Super Bowl teams. I haven't picked a winner. I won't pick a winner at all until we have the 2 for sure Super Bowl teams that are going to the Super Bowl. I'll pick the winner before the Super Bowl actually takes place. But I have 2 teams in mind, obviously. The Bills I have going and the Buccaneers. That's my 2 Super Bowl picks. Said that a long time ago at the beginning of the season. But I want to hear from you guys. Logan, starting with you. Who is your Super Bowl pick? You don't have to pick a winner. You just have to pick 2 teams that are going to go to the Super Bowl. Your guess.
I'm going to stick with my original one, Browns-Packers.
Browns-Packers?
Yep.
Okay.
Same. Going with the gut. Going with the gut. Something tells me.
Browns-Packers?
Browns-Packers.
We'll see what happens with that one, but Packers are very capable of doing so, unless, obviously if Aaron Rodgers gets COVID again, this whole situation. But I doubt that's going to happen. I think Packers are a legitimate team.
Beat Arizona. I think that's all I needed to solidify the way I thought about them.
Yep. Right. I mean, I moved them right away up to number 1. I obviously had to bump them down for this week. I think if Green Bay goes back out there and with Aaron Rodgers, it's a different situation, obviously. So overall, pretty good Super Bowl picks. I'd say it's pretty bold picks. The Browns have to play some good football going forward. They really do.
Almost got to win out in the division. They got to win out.
Got to beat win the rest of their division games. If they get a playoff spot, which I think they will, that's when it really comes down to we got to play some football. We got to play some. Nick Chubb is probably going to be healthy, hopefully.
Yeah,
it seems like him and Kareem Hunt have kind of been hurt lately.
Kareem Hunt's not back. He'll be back not this week, but hopefully next week.
They're going to come in when it matters and run their way to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Just run.
Well, and I think that's like the same way what LeBron did last year, 2 years ago when he won the championship for the Lakers. It's like he didn't play too much the regular season because he wanted to rest his body, and all of a sudden he comes in the playoffs and he's just full go. And there's a reason that they won. But this is football; it's a little bit different. But let's get to our Week 10 pick'ems for the NFL. Last night we all decided to choose the Baltimore Ravens, and we all were wrong, obviously. The Ravens losing 22-10 to the Dolphins, or Miami Dolphins. Let's get it started here with Sunday's slate of games. We have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Logan, who do you have?
Dallas.
Any reason behind that?
I think Dallas is going to, just like Buffalo's going to come out with a vengeance. They got shut out at home, and right? They did get shut out, right?
No, it was like
Did they
30.
score again?
Yeah.
Okay.
16.
Yeah, they look bad, especially with Dak's first game back, so I think they're going to come out.
Is that red
play
stripe?
hard. Yeah.
I got the Dallas Cowboys as well winning this game. I just don't see Atlanta's team as a true threat to the Cowboys, especially with them being towards the top of the NFL.
I think it'll be a battle, but I got Dallas winning this one, just a more complete team. And yeah, it's a bounce back week for them. They got to keep that momentum going and bring that into the playoffs.
Yeah. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints going to take on the Tennessee Titans. John, who do you have winning this one?
I got Tennessee. winning this one. I think that they're going to keep it up. Once again, I feel like they're a more complete team than the Saints are. I think Saints are inconsistent. But who knows, maybe Simeon can be that, what Breeze used to be, maybe.
It could happen. I also have the Tennessee Titans winning this game. At first, I was thinking maybe the Saints, but with Jameis Winston being out, there's just something not sitting right with me with the Saints. And like John said, their inconsistency plays a big factor. And Tennessee's rolling, and they look like they haven't missed a step since losing Derrick Henry. Adrian Peterson is doing just fine over there so far. From seeing him last week, got a touchdown. So Tennessee.
Going with New Orleans.
Really?
Going Trevor Simeon. I think he's going to look good.
What do you see as a difference maker for the Saints there?
Just playing hard. They looked really good with Jameis, so I think that they want to keep that momentum going. Everybody else on the team is just going to show up and do their job.
It'll be interesting, too, to see how Taysom Hill is involved in the offense, because they did say there's going to be a little chunk of playing time for Taysom Hill, specifically for him. So, and we haven't seen that all season, so that could throw off the Tennessee Titans.
Both teams are playing really well. And they're kind of flying under the radar, and that's kind of what you want.
Yep, exactly. So, next game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to take on the Indianapolis Colts. I have the Indianapolis Colts winning this game after Jacksonville somehow beat the Buffalo Bills by a field goal. I just don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars as a legitimate contender in the NFL, where the Colts are starting to roll. They're starting to find their mantra or their personality, with Michael Pittman Jr. scoring touchdowns, Carson Wentz trying to 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville won their Super Bowl last week. They're going to get shit on this week by the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz will keep it up.
Good for you.
Going Colts.
Perfect.
I like the Colts. They look good.
Yeah, they look really solid. And Jonathan Taylor's a freak over there. But. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns going to take on the New England Patriots. Logan, your pick for this one.
New England. I'm just kidding.
I was
Cleveland
about
Browns.
to say, wow. Cleveland Browns, yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where I looked at it and I was like, okay, might be a game, because a lot of people are considering New England Patriots being a legitimate contender.
Just a quick stat. If Cleveland wins, their chances to make the playoffs are 69%. And if they don't win, it's 30%. If New England wins, their chances to make the playoffs are 73%. If they don't win, they're 29%. So both teams either win here or they're probably not going to the playoffs.
It's a
bunch of
must-win
things
game.
happen, so
So that's a big game. So you heard it right here. If it's a must-watch game, go watch that one Sunday. That is a noon game or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you will. But that's going to be a fun game. I also have the Cleveland Browns beating New England. I mean, coming off that big win against Cincinnati, they looked really, really solid. And even without Nick Chubb, I think Dearness Johnson plays some good football. Now they don't have to worry about OBJ. So I think that's going to also play a factor in this game as well. John?
I went with New England on this one. No Nick Chubb.
kick 'em
Bill
off the show.
Belichick at home. I think it's going to be a battle, low-scoring game. I think New England's going to come out on top, and after that's when Browns go on their little run.
That'll be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun game. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills going to take on the New York Jets. I already gave you my pick, Bills. There's no way they're gonna lose this one. Just know that, Bills.
Yeah, I got the Bills too. Not much to talk about. Well, we said that last week.
We did say that last week.
So if the Jets win, though, there's a lot of ears perked up.
Yeah, there's gonna
Yeah.
be something going on.
Might be shitting my record here, but I'm going Jets.
All
Got
right.
feeling.
I'm going with the upset.
It'd be cool to see. I mean,
Hey, with
obviously
my
I don't want
stir-
them, as a Browns fan, I obviously don't want the Bills to win. I want them to fall. So
Stir some shit up.
Yeah, especially
that's
I
for
mean,
sure.
They're
with
at home,
Miami
so-
losing, or with Miami beating Baltimore, and I mean Bills losing Jags, and all these weird games. It's like, all right, could happen. That's a hot take right there, folks. It's a big one. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions going to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. John, who do you have winning this one?
I got Pittsburgh taking that one. Not much to say about it.
Owen,
Detroit.
you got Detroit.
Another upset. Another
Pittsburgh looked
upset.
terrible the other night. They should have lost that game. The Bears, just scored too quickly, and as soon as he was throwing so much, I'm like, why are you guys throwing so much?
Right.
Run the ball. You got plenty of time.
That was
I mean,
my
they
initial thought.
had like over 2 minutes,
It was
right?
2 minutes,
Yeah.
35 seconds.
And they were just throwing it every play, and then they were getting themselves in like 3rd and long. and then just converting. But it's like, God, just run the ball.
Yeah, run that clock out.
And if it gets down to 40 seconds, that's when you throw. But try and run to the other half of the field before you.
And then they don't have to fucking get that taunting penalty where the
Oh,
ref hip
well,
check
that was
Cassie
stupid.
Smart.
Yeah,
That was stupid. That should have never happened.
No. And if they run the ball and run the clock down,
That doesn't happen.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I also got Pittsburgh. It's a tough one. Pittsburgh did look like, hasn't looked the greatest.
Yeah, Big Ben. Big Ben's questionable this week, right?
I think he's questionable every week. I mean, when he goes out, that man's not healthy whatsoever. So, it's gonna be interesting. But I think Pittsburgh pulls it off as much as Detroit loves to fight. And I think they're a hard-nosed football team. They just can't find a way to win. And I think that's gonna be the similar case here for the Pittsburgh Detroit game. So I got Pittsburgh. Next game, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to take on the Washington football team. I have my boy Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucs winning this game. This is a rematch of a playoff game last year where Washington damn near beat them, so Taylor Heinicke gets another chance to take down the Bucs in the regular season, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Antonio Brown's out, Rob Gronkowski's out, so I think Leonard Fournette has got to get going. The run game might be a little tougher for that Washington front, but we'll see how things go.
I got Tampa. I mean, it's the big daddy of the NFL right now. And it seems like I've always had no problem picking Tampa for this season.
They have one of the easier schedule.
Strange.
Why do they have such an easy schedule?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I think it's because it's not because of
Probably.
the name, but I think it's basically the strength of schedule is based on how many teams you play that have went to the playoffs the previous year. I think, or somehow how it works out.
That makes sense, yeah.
So, and I mean, they were one of the teams, so the chance of having them a harder schedule are a little lower. But who do you got winning this one?
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's a good.
Not much to say.
It's a decent pick.
Washington's looked pretty piss poor the last couple weeks. So.
They have not looked on the same page. Next game, the games that finally start at 3:05 p.m. Central Time. We have the Carolina Panthers, who just signed Cam Newton. Won't play this week. P.J. Walker is going to be played, but Cam will play next week. But they are taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Logan, who do you have winning this game?
Oh, Arizona.
Yeah, I
like P.J. Walker, but from what I've seen of him in the NFL so far, I don't think he's there yet.
No,
so.
I don't either. I got Arizona. I mean, Kyler Murray's, hopefully he plays. He's been kind of out of practice lately, and even if he doesn't,
Yeah, they still got a good shot.
I mean,
They
they
still
still have.
got a way better roster.
better defense, yeah.
But I mean, if Christian McCaffrey gets going, this is maybe that point where I can't remember who was talking about. Cardinals might be hitting the wall. They have a good chance of hitting the wall,
I
and
mean, they won last week without Hopkins or Kyler Murray. So
I think they're rolling.
that's a bold statement. Saying they're hitting the wall right now. I gotta see them lose 2 games
Well,
in a row at
they
least.
could hit they could start hitting the wall. Like, I think this is one of those teams, the Carolina Panthers, where they have a good shot at winning. I mean, their defense has shown times where they can play really well, and their offense can obviously do something. P.J. Walker.
Give it to McCaffrey 40, 50 times.
Who do you got winning this one?
Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, we all came to that consensus. So next game we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. John, who do you have winning this one?
Got the Chargers. I'm not ever picking the Vikings again. Vikings last week.
Yeah, 7 out of our 8 games, I believe, this year have been one possession games.
3 OTs, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we don't come out on the positive sides of those.
Start strong, finish not strong.
Yeah, Clint Kubiak, we're coming
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, seriously, you gotta figure that shit out. Like, god damn. Who do you got winning this one, Logan?
Chargers in overtime. I'm just kidding.
Love to
Field
see
goal.
it. Would love to see it. Ain't that right, Ronnie? Yeah, look at him. What's gonna happen? I picked Minnesota. We're on a 2-game losing streak. Since the bye, we had a 2-game win streak before the bye. But something just tells me we're right there. And I think we have been the whole season. Obviously, with 7 out of 8 games being one possession, we're right there. And I think this might be one of those games where we come out on top and possibly send the Chargers lower in their division, where maybe the Chiefs actually get a win this weekend and shoot forward and to the top of their division. But I just hope Minnesota gets going early and wins this game, because god damn it, It's bullshit watching that goddamn team sometimes, I swear. It's terrible. It is not fun, but gotta be a fan somehow, I guess. Alright, so next game. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Denver Broncos. Logan, who do you have winning this one?
Denver.
Okay. Any reason behind that?
Teddy Bridgewater's look solid. I think he's playing right. Their D hasn't looked terrible. I mean, they played good against the Browns.
Beat the
They
shit
held
out of
them
the
to what,
Cowboys.
16 points or whatever that was that week. So
Yeah.
I think Denver takes it. They're at home. They'll stay right in that hunt. So
I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. This is kind of one of those, another tougher game. For some reason, my gut was telling me Denver, and I went against my gut this time. For some, I just, something tells me Jalen Hurts is going to get going, because there has been some discussion really, really briefly, like, that hasn't really been out there, like, a lot, but something's not right with Jalen. I don't think they're going to stick with Jalen next year for some odd reason. People are saying Gardner Minshew might take over, or they might go get a quarterback early in the first round this year, because they have 3 first-round picks, basically, or 2 for sure, so... But I mean, without Miles Sanders there, they're going to have to run the ball and pass the ball a little bit more, or run the ball a little bit more with Jalen. But Denver's one of those teams where they could look really good one week like they did last week against the Cowboys, or they can just, shit the bed. I feel like that might happen. But it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close game, I think. But I got Philly.
I got Denver. Like he said, I like the way Teddy's playing. I think that this is a very talented team, actually. I think they got a good roster.
Young, too.
Not a bunch of stars, but a bunch of hard-working...
Yeah, they're kind of under the radar.
Yeah, that nitty-gritty team, And I think that they're just going to be too much for the Philadelphia Eagles to handle.
I think they really are starting to find their colors, too, since Jerry Jeudy's back.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Patrick's playing really well. Noah Fant, I think he's...
Yeah.
They're doing all right, so
They're coming together well.
they're looking pretty. And Patrick Surtain's one of the front runners for defensive rookie of the year. So Broncos are looking pretty solid. That'll be a fun game. Next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks going to take on the Green Bay Packers. John, who do you have winning this one?
I got Green Bay. They got to come back from last week. Rodgers is going to be back. We'll see how his lungs are feeling after that vigorous COVID that he was going through. But yeah, we'll see how they play. They're playing at home. I'm really interested to see what the crowd sounds like when he comes out. I feel like it's going to be about half and half.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. You're going to hear some boos, you're going to hear some stuff like that.
It's going to be insane.
I also have Green Bay winning. Seattle, with Russell Wilson rushing back, basically, I feel like that's a little red flag there. I don't think he's going to be able to play to the best of his ability. They are also, I believe, activating Chris Carson this week. I wouldn't expect him to get too many carries, but if he does, it'll be interesting to see how he starts rolling, how he starts getting that offense going. And I don't know if he can't. Alex Collins is going to have to go in, and I think there's just something might be missing there. So they're going to have to hit DK and Tyler Lockett the whole game in order to stay into it. But if Rodgers is playing, I can't go against Green Bay. I just can't against the Seattle team that's struggling. Green Bay.
I think Green Bay wins, and Aaron Rodgers delivers a giant fuck you to the media and everybody. I think he's going to play amazing, and it's not going to look like he even lost a step, and then the conversation's going to completely shift.
He loves playing in these situations.
Oh yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He
That's
feeds
fine.
off this.
We've been sitting at home just waiting.
Him and Baker kind of have that same thing. As
That
when
same
the
mentality.
media, when the media is talking shit about him, they go out there and they play pissed off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they have fun doing it. Like,
You know?
we could see another moment where I still own you.
Yeah.
I still own you. That was awesome. That was electrifying. But now for the Sunday night football game is between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. Logan, who do you have winning this one?
Las Vegas.
Any reason?
I've been waiting. This is probably the last week I pick them. If they don't win, then I'm done with them. But I've been waiting for them to kind of put all that noise aside. But it's kind of scary, I guess, at the same time, because it seems like they've kind of let the noise get to them these last couple weeks. So, but hopefully, against a battered and beaten Kansas City team, they come out and look strong. So that crowd's gonna be loud. It always is.
It's gonna be fun.
Primetime game. I mean, Las Vegas is gonna be rocking. So
John, who do you have winning this one?
I got the Chiefs. There's so much shit going on with the Raiders and the Chiefs. got a sloppy win last week, but you know, you put those sloppy wins together, and this week you clean it up. You're like, well, now we know what we got to do to get on the winning side of things. I think Pat Mahomes will have a good game, and Chiefs will get back on track here.
I also have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. Like you said, they have actually the last 2 games have been pretty sloppy. When they played the Giants on Monday night, there was just picks left and right. Almost lost the Giants. Then last week it was sloppy football. Beat the Green Bay Packers barely. I think 13-7 it was.
Yeah.
The final score. So it's like Aaron Rodgers plays that game. It's a whole different situation. But I have the Chiefs just basically because, like John said, there's a whole bunch of shit going on in that Raiders organization, dealing with first head coach, then a wide receiver, then their cornerback, and even before the year with the IRS, and now with Gruden actually suing the NFL. I think that's also going to get in some of their heads maybe. Maybe the organization, like the owner and the GM or something. It could. I doubt it will play too much of a factor, but I think, that team is, they're kind of falling apart, in my opinion, at this point. So I think Kansas City Chiefs get a nice win. But Vegas has beat Chiefs in the past, and that they've always been known to go even with them, 1-1.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Dolphins-Patriots kind of deal.
Yeah.
Even when Vegas sucked, they somehow
You
got
get
the
one, I'll
Chiefs.
take one. Stuff like that. But yeah, I got the Chiefs. So last game for Week 10, Monday Night Football matchup between the Los Angeles Rams, who just got OBJ and Von Miller, against the San Francisco 49ers. I have the Los Angeles Rams winning this game. Obviously, they're playing this game. But I just don't trust San Fran against this powerhouse of a team. This is a division battle. But San Fran's towards the bottom of their division. Actually, I think they are last, if not Seattle's last. But the Rams, they're all in this year. It's very, very apparent. And with Cooper Kupp, the way he's playing, and the rest of the receiving core, now they got OBJ. If OBJ plays this game, we could see a handful of passes to him and see if he actually has what it takes to be a Ram. But Matthew Stafford's playing some good football. That defense is good, so I got Rams. John?
Got Rams as well. Just too good of a team for the team like the 49ers to come out on top with. Even though they're playing at home, should be interesting.
It'll
Should
be a good game.
battle.
It'll be a game.
Within a touchdown, I think. But yeah, I think Rams are just going to be too good for them.
For you?
I got Rams as well. I don't think there's any reason they should lose this game. If they do lose this game, then there's a lot of different things to look at, but there's no excuse for a loss here. They gotta take the win.
It'll be interesting to see how Von Miller fits in that defense.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy,
If
we'll
they
see.
can put pressure on the quarterback, they're going to make Jimmy Garoppolo's day living hell. So it'll be a fun game. There's a lot of good games here this week. A lot of close ones like Cleveland, New England. Detroit, Pittsburgh might be a shootout. Could be. The other one was Philly, Denver. That was a good one. And then the Rams, 49ers. So that'll be a good slate of games for this week of football. We are now at the halfway point, basically, of the season. There's almost not counting the playoffs, Super Bowl. There's 10, 11 more weeks total. So, it's flying by, all right? We're having fun, though, doing it. And that is going to do it for the show today here on Fantasy Football Friday. Again, go enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. And if you're deer hunting, be safe. Shoot a big one. Post it on Facebook and show your family members, show everywhere. Just show off, basically. Have a great rest of your day / weekend. And you just got your fix with the Wicks and Company. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.